Kevin, I mentioned earlier that somebody tweeted a question about the. Oh, there it is, Scott. Is that
Scott? My weekly Scott.
Somebody asked us about certain venues. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to bring up some of the venues in your first year. I want to actually get a piece of paper here because I'm going to try and see if we can narrow down the shittiest venue that you've worked in. I'll bring up a venue. Tell me if you have a great.
I'll give it a one. I'll give it an A through F.
A through F, right? A plus through F. And if you have a good anecdote or something, if somebody broke Kamala sat on the toilet and broke it off or something, please do let us know. All right, first, the beginning of the year, I'm taking 95, okay? You're a very big title year for you. Let's go on January 6th. Let's go up to Winnipeg, Manitoba, the arena. Do you recall the Winnipeg arena?
Used to stay at that hotel that had a strip joint in it.
That's very convenient for the wrestling community.
Yes. Always a good crowd. I mean, it was January. It was probably minus 70.
Oh, yeah. But the building itself.
Yeah, just kind of looks
average.
like the looks like the Memphis Coliseum. Kind of that same architecture.
So what are we giving this?
Give it a C.
C. Very good. Green Bay, Wisconsin, the Brown County Arena.
The old one back then, I'll give it a D. When you walked to, I drove into Green Bay the first time of my life when I was wrestling. I said, I really would like to get something good to eat. She goes, Perkins right up the street. I said, fuck. No wonder Aaron Rodgers is such a dick.
How about Dallas, Texas Reunion Arena?
Oh, God, the old one fucking sucked. I'll give that.
What size was that venue?
Because
I'm seeing here that it drew
12?
This event drew 3,000. So
12. It was the old Dallas Mavericks before they made the American Airlines Arena. But you did, as you left it, go through Daly Plaza. To get on the highway, you had to go through Daly Plaza.
Oh,
and I would always
little
stop
history there.
I'd always stop, point to the guys in the car, say, you know what that is? That's the book deposit. There's the fucking grassy knoll.
And they said, shut up and pass the joint.
They say, shut up and give me the fucking $1,700 for the fucking bar tab.
Reunion Arena, a grade?
C.
Okay. You remember the Summit in Houston?
That's Joel Osteen's church now.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Shithole, give it a D.
Okay. Corpus Christi, Texas, Memorial Coliseum. This looks like it was Superstars taping here.
I wrestled Owen on that.
How the fuck do you remember that? You did. I'm looking at it right now.
D.
Diesel defeated Owen Hart, January 10th, 1995.
Because I got a good memory, man. Even with my CTE, my stuttering, and my ability to...
Your cable signal's not helping you right now, but your mental faculties are okay. So when we say a D for let's take a Corpus Christi Memorial Coliseum, are we factoring in the locker room accommodations, the
overall just the field, parking, cleanliness of the urinals? Like when you walk in and it's 6 o'clock and the bathroom looks like it has been cleaned in 3 weeks, that's And I'm sorry, man, but you got to dump deuces where you can on the road. This isn't, You know, I'm not one of those guys that can wait till he gets to the hotel room.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like, and I'm OCD, so I got to fucking take the one fucking gimmick with soap on it, then the clean the seat with soap, and then it's D.
But if you're following Mabel.
No, yeah. Oh, and then you always got the guys with like I said, with the 1-inch hose that decides he can't piss in the urinal because back in those days you didn't have the fucking, the wall between the urinals. So God forbid,
someone saw you schmeckle.
Yeah, somebody saw your 1-inch cock because you were gonna, a bunch of fucking shit. Just unbelievable. How I lived that life is.
How I lived that life.
Yeah.
What was worse, a basketball locker room or a wrestling locker room?
Well, basketball was always much cooler. Number one, everybody back in those days, everybody wore a jock strap, so there was no meat gazing going on because everybody's shit was packed down. So
packed up.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
New Haven Coliseum.
Like a fucking moth that hit your fucking headlight. Which one? New Haven?
New Haven Coliseum, Connecticut, yes. This is the arena Vince, actually, back in the 80s, purchased.
Yeah, this is the one that kids stole the beer out of, so we'll give it a C. He was actually able to hop a fence and get a couple cases of beer after the matches were over.
Take me to Uniondale. Nassau Coliseum.
It was, I always liked it because it was gritty,
I like the rodeo right next to it. It was a nice touch. Yeah,
I'll give Nassau a C. It was older. They hadn't been redone yet.
Right.
Plus, Dr. J, Dr. J played there, so got just points on that alone.
Meadowlands Arena, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Now, that was my spot as a kid.
I liked it.
That's where
that was
I
decent.
attended.
That's where the Nets played
before
they
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And so a grade.
We'll give that a C.
Madison Square Garden.
A B. Parking F.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, parking F. So I guess I'm going to have to give it a C- for overall. And before they redid it, you couldn't get a cup of coffee in that motherfucker to save your life.
Why?
I guess it was union. It cost $35. I don't know. It just fucking sucked. You couldn't get a cup of coffee. I might, Dad, walking around and seeing Elton John's picture on the wall and all that. Yeah, great. Then I came back and they redid it, and it was like you couldn't find it. It used to just be a round fucking rotunda, and you'd walk around it, and the locker rooms were the shits. Then they redid it, and it was just like, holy shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But at this time, 95, was it still...
No, 95 was shits.
Okay.
That's why they had
the
so
Sun
many
Dome in
fucking winning
Tampa.
teams. Sun Dome. Kind of a cool building. Small. Back then, anytime you were in Florida was chill because you got decent weather. Me and Brett had a Rumble match there.
This is the one. This is Royal Rumble 95.
Yeah, we had a Rumble match there.
Go about a half hour and
I like
draw.
it. I'll give it a B.
Palmetto, Florida, the Manatee Civic Center. For Christ's sake, don't know that I've ever heard of this building.
It's like it looks. It's almost like it's small as fuck. It's a D. They got a D match. I know that.
You were with, what did you do here? Oh, you pinned Jeff, who was a sub for Backlund. He was supposed to be with Backlund in I guess, a return. Is this a taping? This is a Monday Night Raw taping, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
God.
At a small house like that, huh?
How many, does this have the house
Well,
on
this
it?
says a heavily papered 2,500.
Yeah, that was a shithole.
West Palm, the Auditorium.
God, all these buildings suck. C. I don't think did we run one where there was...
This was a Superstars taping.
Yeah.
I think you just did I don't think you wrestled. I think you did a promo or something.
Probably a dark match.
Fort Myers, the Lee Civic Center.
That was horrible because you couldn't do a running because you couldn't see the ring from the entrance door. It was a box. It was just it was Erie, Pennsylvania, moved to Fort Myers.
Now, in these buildings like this, where do you put 25 wrestlers in a locker room? I mean, were there like proper locker room facilities in these buildings?
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like they set them up for hockey and basketball, and you just have those little, they're like the width of my shoulders with a stool in it, and you fucking put your clothes in your bag, and you just get,
Okay. There's no attempt in '95 to keep heels and baby faces separated, right?
No, I don't think so. Not at TV tapings because we're in a protected area. Because if somebody would walk into the locker room, that was you'd hear kayfabe. See a bunch of guys' heads come up.
Even in '95.
Yeah.
Baltimore Arena.
I always dug Baltimore Arena. Locker rooms were okay. There was like a row that where the stage was. Behind that, there was a row of lockers that was nice. I had a picture in my bedroom when I was a kid of Elvin Hayes shooting a jump shot from the corner of the Baltimore Arena when they were the Baltimore Bullets, and you can see they were shooting on the stage end. So like that, I remember the first time I walked in there. But the fucking the Baltimore, the Maryland Commission, oh Jesus! I mean, they did everything except give you a pap smear.
Really?
Pains in the ass. You couldn't get color.
Taking it seriously in '95.
Yeah.
When everyone but them knows it's a work.
All those commission states, it was boxing and wrestling, like it's the two of the same.
What would you give Baltimore for a grade?
I'll give it a C.
All right. Where are you next? Montreal Forum.
I had my last WWE match. My ladder match with Triple H was at the Baltimore Arena. Imagine when I found out that you're going to have a ladder match. You're 55, your knees don't work, and you can't get color. So there's no fucking smoke and mirrors. There's not shit. Have a nice day.
Should have opted for a Falls Count Anywhere or something.
Yeah, it was tables, ladders, and chairs.
How about Montreal? Montreal Forum?
The old one or the new one?
Well, 95 would have been the old.
The old one was. I like the old one. The old. I'm an original six guy anyway. When it goes to hockey, so I'd always liked the old Forum. Crowds were. I love Montreal. That's one of my favorite cities in the world, and I loved both the forums. I think the Elimination Chamber is in Montreal.
Was it okay?
Some of the
history, the Habs, some of the history. What would you give it?
The Rocket. I'll give it a 4.
A letter.
Oh, a B.
A B. Okay. Oh, let's see. Oh, apparently there was a very bad snowstorm this year. Boston was canceled. Portland was canceled. Fall River, Providence, Connecticut, and Worcester all canceled.
We got stuck up in Montreal. So here's the story. We got stuck up in Montreal. We're in a hotel room, and there was a strip joint right up the street from the hotel. So we get all the dancers come back.
We're always.
We're all partying in the thing, and so Sean talks to Vince. I talk to Vince. Scott talks to Vince, and kid Sean Waltman talks to Vince. He goes, "Hold on, somebody wants to talk to you." "Hello, Mr. McMahon." It's one of the dancers.
Cheeky? Oh.
It was one of the dancers,
Sounded like Chic.
Well, my brain wasn't ready to do a French girl. I'm still pissed off at Paul Anka. So, fucking tool. So, he says, "Put Sean back on." D, can you hear me? We're both like this on the phone. He goes, "You guys need to get to Boston." What? You guys need to get to Boston. They fucking took us. We got our bags. Cab picked us up. Sean and I were in the engine of the fucking train going to Boston. Like, we're actually in the engine.
Oh,
like
he sent
where
you by
the
train.
He sent us by train. We had a sleeper car, and we had beer. I think we had like a case of beer, and we ate a couple of fried steaks in the dining car, and then they stopped to do something. So we said, "Let us." I wanted to get. I'd never been in the the engine before. And so we're in the engine, and it's kind of cool because with that big light, it was snowing like fuck. And I went to the Celtics game and got hammered, and Sean had to do something in Sanford, but they got us out of there. The rest of the boys got to have fun. We got fucking kiboshed.
Excellent. Amazing you remember such detail. Philly Spectrum.
Shit. Oh.
Really, huh?
Yeah.
Tell me why. Locker
Dirty,
rooms?
old. Yeah, just
dirty,
old.
That's a D, it sounds like.
Just because it's the Spectrum and the people were such assholes, I'll give it a C.
Okay. Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati Gardens.
Oh, God. Old school, light over the top of the ring, big fucking, I give that a A.
An A?
Yes. Cincinnati Gardens was like going back to 1950 in wrestling.
For the vibe.
The vibe was just fucking unbelievable.
Could you get a cup of coffee there?
Yeah.
Okay. The Palace at Auburn Hills.
And a little puppy love. I always liked Auburn Hills because I got number one, I got to see my family, but that was a newer building at that time, and good locker rooms, spacious, clean. NBA.
Of course, yeah.
Were
any of the Pistons wrestling fans? Like, did you get?
No, I would never. Because we run the same time. That time of year they're on the road
true.
too. So, yeah, last thing they want to do is come fucking to Auburn Hills and get fucked with.
Macon, Georgia, the Coliseum.
I think probably when Little Richard was there was probably a nice building, but Jesus, I don't think they did any. I don't even think they painted it since then. I'll give that a D. Go fuck itself.
What did you give the Palace? We need to give that a grade.
I'll give it a B.
Okay. All right. And let's see. Getting to some obscure ones now, like the
Must be going
North
to TVs.
Charleston. Oh, the Charlotte Coliseum in South Carolina. This isn't North Charleston, South Carolina, Charlotte Coliseum.
No, it's in North Charleston. It's North Charleston Coliseum.
Okay.
It's the one that's kind of out in the hood. It's all right. It's just another square. Looks like a hockey rink. I'll give it a C.
Market Square Arena in Indy.
Kind of a cool building. It was big. I think we actually used to have to partition that off with a big curtain. That was the Indiana Pacers.
Yes.
Of the ABA, that was their home.
Didn't they do that with the Palace with the big curtain too?
No.
In Auburn Hill? No, okay.
No.
For some reason I'm seeing
that was when they used to use the Pontiac Silverdome.
Ah, that's it, the Silverdome.
The football,
it was
like
80,000 seats or whatever.
Yeah.
So what would you give Market Square Arena? Did you like that?
Yeah, I'll give it a B.
Okay. Chicago, the United Center.
A. Scott and I were the first. SummerSlam was the first event in that building, in the United Center.
On this night, you wrestle Bam Bam. So it was a newer building, so that obviously nice accommodations.
It was brand new.
You mentioned this earlier, Valparaiso, Indiana, the athletics center.
I was on the way home, out to the air. Yeah, that was same as it was a smaller college basketball arena that just you couldn't turn the lights off.
Got it. Portland, Maine, Cumberland County Civic Center.
Kind of a dive. Give it a D.
All right. Phoenix, Arizona, America West Arena.
I'll give it a B. They still use that. Suns still use that.
Right. Well, it must have been new at that time, right?
Yeah, it was newer. Yeah.
Anaheim, Arrowhead Pond, another newer building.
That was a newer building. Give it a B.
Very good. Fresno. I don't know the name of the building. I just have
That's just that's a square building on Fresno State. What do we have there? Didn't we have a Rumble there or something?
Yeah, you might have.
We did it one time.
This was 9,000, this particular event. You and Razor beat Sean and Jeff. Grade for Fresno?
9,000 shit. I'll give it a B.
All right. Here's a big one. Maple Leaf Gardens, Toronto.
This was the old Brown building. Fucking brutal.
With the ramp, right?
I'll give it a D. Looked like fucking someplace that would sell pretzels. Like a pretzel factory is what it looked like when you pulled up to it. I was never
How
so
about the
fucking
Joe in Detroit?
I'll give that a B.
That wasn't an old broken down at that point in time?
But it was always, the crowds were always good. It was just, energy was good. That was like Rosemont, like
Rosemont Horizon,
the Rosemont in Chicago was a building you wanted to wrestle in. You didn't want you wanted to wrestle in the Joe. You didn't want to wrestle in Auburn Hills.
Gotcha. Landover, Maryland?
God, that's when Brett and I had the Survivor Series there.
I think it's called USAir at this time.
Yeah, USAir Arena. C.
Cleveland, Gund Arena?
Gun was not. That was brand new. I'll give that B plus. Great locker rooms.
Poughkeepsie, remember the Mid-Hudson Civic Center?
Yeah, I'll give it a C.
No, they didn't have a real locker room, right?
No, they had upstairs. They had one shower, one pisser, and one pisser, one shitter combo, and you had like 40 guys for TV.
Yeah, that was a Raw.
Yeah, that was fucking.
All right, we have a lot here, so let me go down my list here, and here's what we've compiled. You didn't give anything an F, so obviously either the buildings they were running were obviously up to par enough.
F's pretty hard. F would be, one of those Brooklyn UAWs where or fucking American Legion places that don't have showers. Those get Fs. But there was I remember one time at WCW we ran in Starkville, Mississippi, we ran a rodeo facility. The ring was on the dirt in the middle of the fucking, and you walked on pallets, wooden pallets, out to the fucking ring. And when you came back, there was a 2x4 that was like 6.5 feet above the ground. It had a V cut in it and a garden hose duct taped. And that was the shower.
For a shower.
And then on the table, they had bottles of rubbing alcohol and rolls of paper towels. And you would rinse yourself off and then throw the rubbing alcohol on you to get the sludge off you, and then dry yourself with the paper towels.
What city was this?
Starkville, Mississippi.
Wow.
There was one also in New Mexico like that.
What was that fucking payday? I'm sure it was worth it.
I'm sure it was.
I didn't ask you the Boston Garden. I can't.
The old one. The old one. Just because, see, it's hard for me to diss something when you're a basketball fan and you're in the Garden.
Right, it has history. Sure.
But at the same time, motherfucker, man, it was 140 degrees in those locker rooms.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was a shithole.
Average out to like a B, maybe.
I'd give it a fucking C minus.
Okay.
Plus, it had that old wooden ramp up to it. Remember that? In the back, there was this wooden ramp that looked like
the entrance. The rear entrance. Yes.
For the boys, and when it snowed, it was kind of fucking steep. And if you had your fucking cowboy boots on, trying to fucking have a little fever going, you could fucking take a spill. Right. So, fuck that place.
So I have a lot of D's. Again, no F's. So our D's were the Green Bay, Broome County, whatever the hell, the Summit, Corpus Christi Memorial, Palmetto, Florida, Fort Myers, Lee Civic Center, Macon, Georgia Coliseum, Portland, Maine, Cumberland County, was that?
No, Bangor, Maine would have got a B because that was cool because it had like one side, like a normal side, like a high school, and then the other side went like to the fucking rafters. There's probably like 4,500 people on one side. The bleachers went way up. So that was kind of a cooler building. Bangor, Maine was a cool building.
And then the other side was less fans.
In Lewistown that was always a cool building because that's where Clay and Liston fought when nobody would take the fight. It was the same with the old Miami Convention Center. Like some of those older buildings, man, would have history and they'd have fight history, so they'd be cool.
Yeah.
A lot of them were just old shitholes that you just went.
But you overlook that to say this is where Ali fought, right? And you're
that's
basically standing in the ring with the same point of view that he had. Yeah.
And that was always the thing, that if it was a fighting arena, it just it had that aura to it.
Yeah.
You knew somebody spilled some blood in that motherfucker.
Exactly. So you gave 2 A's. The Chicago United Center, which was new at the time, and Cincinnati Gardens. That got your A's.
Two completely different buildings. I think the Cincinnati Gardens might be torn down. Steve, is it torn down? Somebody told me they tore the Cincinnati Gardens down. The other one that was kind of cool was that it was the Louisville Gardens, and they were trying to redo that, but Ali fought there.
Mm-hmm. Very good. I gotta find pictures of that venue in Mississippi.
Yeah, fuck.
Anyone's got home video on YouTube, got to see what that setup was. Torn down in March 2018. Demolition began with the crews. Bill Eadie? Fucking Barry Darso on the crew. All these great buildings, man. All these historic buildings get fucking torn down.
When I used to drive to my uncle's house in Kentucky, we would always drive by Old Crosby Field. That's where the Reds played, and you could see it from the interstate. I don't even know if it might have been fucking Telegraph Road, US 24, that went by it, because I don't think I-75 was done at this time. But you could see, I remember going by one night, and the Reds were actually playing, and Crosby Field was like those old fields that all of the it looked like a minor league field where all the outfield walls had ads on them and shit.
Yeah.
It was cool though. I mean, it was Major League Park, but just the fact that it was the Reds.
Yeah, and I love old buildings and stuff, and
and I hate when they tear that shit down, man. It's just...
Me too. I wish I could have hit more of those. Well, you're in the perfect profession to be able to do that, obviously, and
I hit a lot
into all the other sports and where championships were won, and just to stand in the Boston Garden, my God, must have been.
Well, and I've told this story before, but I don't know if I have on this show. But they came to us, and I was wrestling Sid. And they said, hey, would you guys like to go on last? And Sid's like, hell no, man, I want to get the fuck out of here. I said, no, man, I want to go on last, because we were the last wrestling match ever to go on in the old Boston Garden. It was me versus Sid.
Oh.
I said, no, man, this is everybody that's been anybody in our business has wrestled in the Boston Garden. And we're going to be the last 2. I said, no, I'll take that as long as I can be the first one eliminated in the elimination chamber. Fucking shit worked out.